My gosh, you guys are not ready for this episode. So I'm going to be talking about why dating a content creator is not for the weak. Okay? This episode, you are not ready for it. I know so many people are going to be like all nosy, up in the biz. I already posted like a quick little teaser on my Instagram story about to like spill the tea in this episode, and I'm going to spill the tea. So we are getting raw, we are getting real, we are talking about it all, and we are going to go basically back and travel back in time from when I first originally started content, from what it's been like dating, what my experience has been, how being a content creator has actually helped me develop better standards and help me find who I want and who I don't want in a partner. And you guys are probably gonna be like, wait, what? How does content creation do that? Just buckle the F up. Basically, I'm just gonna be speaking to my younger self, and whoever resonates with this episode, genuinely, like, I hope I can help you, and I hope that I change your life, okay? Okay, so let's start. So I originally started posting, I want to say back in high school, and I want to touch on that, right? So in high school, I was always that kid that stood out. I was the goody two-shoes, teacher's pet, like had the strict parents. People never wanted to invite me to things because like, you know, they were either embarrassed of me, ashamed of me, worried my parents were going to call the cops and like blow up their party, what have you. I heard it all, right? Like I got bullied and everything, right? So a lot of times people would be like, oh, like it's just Emily Means, like it's fine, like, you know, and just like, oh, look, it's totally fine, they're treating me this way. Or like guys like would be embarrassed to be like associated with me. Like I actually had I had this crush once, and like they literally told me they were so concerned about what other people were going to say about them being associated with me or talking to me that they never went for me. And we were like in this, I forget, it was like some math class or whatever, and they'd always like, you know, see me, but they never approached me. And I'm like, so you're insecure. So what I'm realizing is I always have gone for insecure men until my boyfriend now. My boyfriend now is a king. Oh my God, is he a king? And I need you ladies to listen the fuck up, okay? Okay. So fast forward just a little bit. So high school, I started dabbling, and like I would always go to Pinterest and I would look at Pinterest. I'd get the inspo. You know, I remember I literally like ran outside after I saw this one picture on Pinterest, and like I held up like, you know, the dandelions and then how they like turn into like the little like fuzzy things that you can blow or whatever. I remember taking like a picture with that and like a cute top, and like I think it was this one girl called it my Kardashian top or whatever. It's like this really pretty like lace top I had, and I was trying to be all Pinteresty, right? Now it's cool to like be the Pinterest girl or whatever, but it was like weird back then, right? Like people weren't used to it. And don't we recognize in society that if someone's not used to something, or if it's different or you're different, you're weird, and it's like you're not cool. So, you know, obviously, there was this one guy I dated in high school. I only dated one guy ever in high school. And he was also kind of a whatever. Basically, like, his friends were talking about me and things like that. Whatever. It doesn't even matter. All that matters is I broke up with him because I was like, if you can't put your friends in your place, I don't want to be with you. Then I go to college, right? And I go from being this goody two-shoes, teacher's pet, straight A student, to being like the person who would almost not care about school, who didn't raise their hand. Because I realized, like, I was like, well, people didn't like me in high school when I did that. So let me just be the opposite of what I was in high school. Guys, I swear to God. What the hell was I thinking? Just But again, it was all part of my story. It's all part of my process. It's all part of how now I can speak to that younger version of myself, and I can be like, hey, listen, I'm not going to tell you, like, don't do something. I'm going to tell you, this is what the fuck I went through. This is why it didn't work out for me. And, like, please learn from my mistakes because your girl has gone through it. So this is some big sister advice. So I started being a party girl, right? Like, I go to college. I go to like a mainly male dominated college, and I went from having like no parties ever, or like having to sneak around my parents' back with this like one girl who I'm no longer friends with, and like just started getting invited to all these parties. And then I start posting like party pics all the time. And I started getting all this male attention, and I never really have had that because I grew up where guys literally told me I was ugly. Like, I thought I was ugly for the longest time. And everyone's like, what do you mean you thought you were ugly? Guys literally would put me down. I not only had girls put me down, I had guys put me down. And I was even told once, like, if I didn't talk, I'd be pretty. And, like, fuck that shit, okay? Like, I don't know why we in society are told that we have to be this quiet, mysterious, girl to get a guy to like us. It's not like that. Like, I am a golden retriever. I have high energy. I am a chitty chatter, talk too much, talk back type of girly. I got attitude, I got sass, and that is who I am. And my boyfriend now loves me. I don't know why he decided to wake up one day and pick me, but he did. And I love that he picked me because he's like, today I want a tall drink of attitude. And I'm like, well, hello, how are you? I love him. But like, I started to post, right? And so I went from having like, maybe like these not so cool outfits or like out there outfits to like wearing like these like I can't even tell you what I used to wear. It was like, I would either look like a straight bum, a hooker, or like I didn't know how to dress, okay? Throughout the evolution of my life, I've learned how to get better style, dress, carry myself, reputation, all the things. We'll do a whole other podcast on that. I'd love to. Another episode to add to the list. I need to start jotting these down. But when I started posting and talking to some guys or a guy or whatever, because when you're single, you're told like you need to talk to multiple people. I could never do that. I always would like focus on one person. And if I tried, like, it was terrible. It did not work for me. So I started reading like different books. I kid you not. I like got so invested into how to be, this like perfect girl to get the guy, and like how to get the guy. And I thought a lot of times I shot myself in the foot for my socials because I was always posting, and I was posting party pics, and I was posting every single time I went partying. And I was posting my outfits because I genuinely loved my outfits. Like, I actually would try. Like, I started, like, actually trying. And then it got to the point where I'm like, oh, like, I'm loving Instagram. I'm loving this. I want to be a travel creator. I want to be able to do, like, what these other influencer girls are doing and share my, like, outfits. And I started getting, like, a little bit more confident with how I presented myself and what I was doing. And believe me, some of the outfits I know if I went back and I looked through my Snapchat memories right now, at that time, I thought they were cool, okay? Now I'm like, what the actual hell was I thinking? But that's the part of, like, growth. That's part of the journey, like, oh my God, it's so cringy, some of them. But I thought it was the shit. And I got so excited, and I would do, like, my hair and everything, but, like, I would always be posting, and I didn't think to myself, like, oh my God, like, am I, like, pushing these guys away from me posting partying? And, like, I wasn't really, like, I guess, very self-aware yet on, like, most guys don't want the party girl. They don't, because they're gonna think you're gonna go out or find another guy, or especially if you're dating, like, a very insecure man who doesn't even want you having a girls' night and is, like, terrified of, like, letting you out of the house because they think, like, the next guy out there is gonna get you. And, like, if you're wearing a certain outfit, like, you're a whore. I can't even. Like, my last, like, I can't even. A sports bra was too much. And I'm like, you're kidding. sir, you're insecure. You need to work on you because, anyways. Ladies, just if your man is telling you you can't wear things, that man is insecure. If that man is telling you can't post things, that man is insecure. That, like, I understand that there's a level of being respectful towards your man, but a secure man isn't gonna say you can't wear something. He's gonna know, like, my girl's gonna go out there and I'm gonna make sure I'm there. And, you know, he's gonna be by your side. Or, like, if you're wearing the bikini, he's grabbing your ass. And if you're not, like, you know, I always tag, like, my go-to thing I do is I tag, like, the guy I'm dating on my butt. Or I tag, like, them on my person or whatever. And, like, I don't know. Like, I don't know. I've always made it known, like, when I'm someone's. But when I'm not someone's, I'm your worst freaking nightmare. I will do whatever I want, when I want, how I want. I don't give a fuck what you say at all. And that has been my downfall. Because here's the other thing. I talk a lot. Yes, we know. And I'm very vocal on my stories. And when I started to, like, learn on Instagram stories, probably, like, around, like, junior, senior year in college, right, that I could vocalize what was going on in my life. Like, I wouldn't just, like, post stories. I started posting videos, and I became, like, obsessed with sharing videos because I don't know, like, I wanted to be open and raw and real and vulnerable because so many people do not show their real life. And I was like, if I'm going to show my life, I'm going to show my whole life. And I'm not just going to show the glamour parts of it, because in my internet marketing class, I was told by my professor that you can have two ways of marketing. You can either have the lifestyle like Kylie Jenner. We literally learned about Kylie Jenner and influencer marketing in my college class I took. Or you can go the route of being relatable. And I was like, well, I don't have a lifestyle yet that everyone wants and, like, can glamorize it. And I'm not a celebrity. So let me do something that I can do, which is be relatable. But I had a huge thing with, like, my parents, and then guys I would, like, you know, be interested in wouldn't want to talk to me anymore from what I would post. And I always had this back and forth. And, like, one of my good friends at the time had told me, like, she doesn't see me because, like, there was so much more to me. Like, I would always go adventuring on the weekends, you know, when I had in between classes. And I would try and take these cute photos because I was trying to be a fashion travel influencer. I was trying to become that next, like, celebrity girl or whatever. And it wasn't like I was trying to be famous or, like, get that fame. No, I was trying to genuinely change where I was in life because I saw so many people making it big from just sharing their outfits and, like, being who they were. And I was like, well, if they can, I can. And it's like, you know, how? But I always got caught on what other people thought. And, like, when I would date these guys, like, I would just get so consumed with, like, oh my God, if they were watching my story, or oh my God, like, what they're thinking, or oh, like, why did I get left on red? Oh, it's because he saw, like, I was posting too much. And I've literally been able to decode someone not being interested. There was this one guy, and I had, like, a huge crush on him or whatever. It was back in college. And, like, I was just, like, oh my gosh, so freaking, like, I don't know, you know what I mean? I had the hard eyes, whatever. And, like, it was, like, all because I was posting. Like, I realized, like, I've recognized this so freaking much. But, like, I'll have a guy, like, meet me in person and they'll love me, and then they watch my socials and they don't like me anymore. And I'm like, huh. You like me when I'm my classy, put together, modest self that I know how to be because my parents raised me with manners and that way. But then when I'm being a little bit of my ratchet, wild self and, like, free going or whatever, and, like, yes, I know it was partying most of the times, or if it was just me being me, they didn't like that. And I used to get so hung up on it, and I thought, like, I was ugly because, like, you know, that's what I heard from, like, the people in high school, so that carried over. And it's like, nope, not ugly, and nope, my outfits weren't always, like, that bad or whatever. It was really that person was just insecure, and they were so worried about what their friends and family and Aunt Sue and uncle and blah 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 would think of me. and probably didn't want to associate with me. It's like a great example of this is be like, I don't know if you guys have ever watched Sex and the City, but basically like Big didn't want to introduce Carrie to his mom because he was embarrassed of Carrie doing her sex column. And it's like a lot of times I've noticed that guys have either been embarrassed about how vocal I am on social media, or here's a great example. So I start dating this one guy, and he was like confident, so I will say like he was fine with me posting, but like I don't know, like there'd still be like this back and forth or whatever. I don't know. It was like a weird relationship anyways. But then like obviously I had my abortion, and then him and I stopped dating, blah blah blah, whatever. So yeah, I just want to touch on that. So I noticed like even though they were confident with like themselves for the most part, minus like the fact of like they didn't like how I was more successful for like going to college and like being somewhat put together, because I actually kind of had my life put together at that point. It was like then I started dating someone else, and I started oversharing about the abortion, and oversharing is like, it really is a killer. It's like a make it or break it for me in a relationship, because I'm able to literally tell. And they were fine with me like sharing my life, whatever, but when I started being open online about the abortion, that was when people like had red flags go up, right? Like so this person's family was watching my socials, and I recognized it, right? Like the sisters and I were like getting along, and then all of a sudden it was like a 180, and I'm like, weird. We were just hanging out. Now we're not hanging out. Why aren't we hanging out? Oh, I overshared about my abortion I went through with someone else. And was that rude to the person? I don't know. I was really going through a hard time. I wasn't trying to be disrespectful to the guy I was dating at the time, but like at the end of my year, I was talking about what happened at my year, because like that was a really big thing, and it was something that really was a lot for me. And I'd see like this like these sisters like looking up my stuff, and like that one of them didn't even follow me, and it was like all this like whatever stuff, just you can tell when someone doesn't like you from your socials. And if someone tells me, oh my god, you overthink, yes, I overthink. I do. And you know what? When you overthink, you will overthink every possible scenario. The FBI, CIA should hire overthinkers, because we are literally able to figure out a scenario, because we will like look for every way possible, like for something to be shown to us, and overthink and overthink and overthink until like we basically manifest that, it feels like. And I found out that they like told the brother that like, I don't know, he ended up telling me he didn't want to date me anymore. He was depressed and he couldn't handle it. And I don't know what exactly it was, and to this day I won't. But I had a lot of like just like feeling it was the family just didn't want to deal with me anymore. I don't know. And they didn't like us together. And then this is funny. So then like obviously like we know I've had a past, obviously. And again, the way you present yourself, I learned, is how people will perceive you and what they will think of you and how you show up. So, I really learned that in a kind of hard way. And also a lot of the times, I had this really bad back and forth with my family, because my family hated I shared my life. Like my sister got bullied for it. Like girls like would go back and talk to her. My brother got bullied for me posting. I remember I got my nips pierced, and like he got like these guys at school would just like go to my little brother, and I'm like, listen, you know what, I'm sorry, like I can't help. And then I would say I won't post, and then I'm like, what am I doing? Like I'm literally living my life for someone else. And I would always go back and forth. Like I started trying to do some modeling in college, and my parents said I was a disappointment, and I'm like, oh my god, like I can't please anyone. And then I'm thinking, well, or is this why these guys don't like me? And then my friends are saying I'm not showing up as like who I am that they see behind the doors of partying, and like I'm like just trying to be me, and I would fight and fight and fight, and then I'm like, no, I am being me, but like I didn't feel like it. And then I just told my boyfriend this the other night. I was like, I used to get drunk because, one, I was always trying to escape reality. I was super depressed. I was unhappy with life, blah, 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 whatever. But, like, I would be more myself drunk than I would sober. So I would always try and, like, feel that way. And I felt like I couldn't. And I've now mastered being able to be the same person drunk and sober because I've worked so hard on me, and I've done the inner work. I've gone to therapy, I've journaled, I've looked up like manifestation, visualization, I've done the dark, like deep shadow work, you name it. I am obsessed with personal development, right? Well, okay. And my ADHD, I talk a million miles a minute, so just bear with me. Okay, and so what else? So then obviously, like, the stuff with my past, what happens, like, whatever, we know what happened. If you don't know what happened, well, you know, you can just kind of guess, or you can hit me up and, you know, we can chat. But, yeah, that, like, really was a wake-up call for me, and, you know, I started to realize a lot when I had lost my first job, you know, after the first abortion. That was really hard. And, you know, I also wasn't growing with the person I was then dating. I told you about with like the sisters and everything like that. I was an Uber driver at the time. It was whatever. And then fast forward, COVID hit later on, and he broke up with me probably like 2 months before COVID. And then I had a really self-exploratory past and learned a lot of lessons. I dated like a 42-year-old. I dated a black guy. I dated another like really, really wealthy dude. So I was able to learn how to get treated and like what I deserved. And I had my very first trip someone take me on. I used to race to pay my one ex the bill on Taco Bell. What? Like, I think about it now, and I'm like, what the hell was I thinking? Like, when this ex-best friend of mine told me never bring my wallet on a date, I would literally be like, are you crazy? Like, who are you? Like, what? Are you just expecting men to pay? Now I don't even my boyfriend knows he's paying for me. And actually, it was funny. We were for sushi the other night. And he's like, okay, here. And he handed me the bill. He never does this. And I laughed. I literally laughed. I was like, you're joking, right? Because he knows I'm not paying for it. Because I've learned, and I had to go from hating myself to loving myself to learn, no, like, you're supposed to pay. You're supposed to provide. Like, that's, like, the guy's job. And this 50-50, that's bullshit. This, like, no, we're not doing that out here in these streets. No, because it's just not happening. There are too many men nowadays that are trying to be feminine, and no, like, we need masculine men only that are providing, protecting, and professing their love. And if they're not, cut them the fuck off and keep it pushing, because there will be someone else out there. Trust me. So then, like, you know, come back, and then I'm trying to be modest, and, you know, we've had this push and pull where I start and stop my Instagram because I'm so worried about, like, you know, if this is why no one likes me, and, like, why I can't get a guy, and, like, my family hating me. It was, like, all these things of why I always started and stopped my Instagram. And then, like, I started to realize it's like, no, like, why am I starting and stopping for someone else? Like, I want to share my life. And then someone said something to me. It's like, the right person will be okay with you doing it. The right person will flow with you. You won't have to stop doing or stop being who you are for them. You won't have this anxiety. It'll just come naturally. I mean, how my boyfriend now is, and like, but like, and then I started dating someone else, and oh my God, let me talk about this. Okay. So I was able to pinpoint what this person's family was doing because of the other ex. And it was so funny, right? Okay, so this is great. So we work together, right? And it's crazy because he couldn't handle the heat of people coming and talking to him, and like he would always have like his family being on him, like telling him like he shouldn't date me, he shouldn't do this, like why is he still with me? And like they never followed me, but they always looked me up. Like his family members did not follow me, and they would constantly look up my Instagram. So I was able to pinpoint like, oh, so-and-so's like family does not like me. I think it was like only a couple, no, I think it was only his mom that had followed me, and then like everyone else did not, right? So I was able to pinpoint who liked me and who didn't like me from like how they were interacting with my stories. Like I would see like the same person all the time, screenshot, send it to them, be like, are you gonna handle this? Like talk to this person, like are you gonna do anything about this? Like, and I'm paraphrasing here, right? And it got to the point where one time like I literally got shoved, and I was like, okay, yeah, no, I'm handling this. And they like religiously like would look at my stuff. They sent some of my stuff, and I'm like, are you joking? Like this is ridiculous. And like the guy did not stand up for me, and like he said he did, but my therapist and I both know he didn't. And it was so crazy because I'm like, wow, like all this time I thought like it was me and I was the problem, but really it was who I was choosing to date as the problem. Because the man I have now, it was a similar situation. Some people were looking at my story. I told him about it. He handled the situation. And I'm so happy because like if he wanted to, he would. He would. And if he doesn't, another will. And another did. And another is. So I'm just saying, you might think this man is like the best thing, right? But then there's like some things. First off, ladies, we do not want to be with cowards. We do not want to be with people who cannot provide, protect, and profess for us. I have done so much just like inner work on, like I've read, because I've had to change like parts, not even change, but like edify, modify like parts of myself and recognize like, oh, like I'm not attracting the person I want because I'm not being that thing, right? Because if you want someone a certain standard, you also have to be and become that same level. So I oh my God, I literally love inner work, and I love like understanding. Like a good book is Why Men Love Bitches. Act Like a Lady, Think Like a Man. Steve Harvey put us on game, ladies. Go read it. And also like the level of how you treat yourself, men will like view you. And that was another thing. I like have learned so much because I did not respect myself. I'll be so freaking real and honest with you guys. I did not respect myself until up of, I want to say last year. And even then I had some work to do. And I'm still working, obviously. But like, oh my God, like it's insane. And it's like, some of these men like just can't handle, because my boyfriend now gets roasted at work. People literally like send TikToks, roast him, make fun of from what he said, from asking like me to be his girlfriend. Like he said this thing at the end, and like people roast him. And it's crazy because he's so confident and secure, and it's like, oh my God, wow, like I can really just do me, be me, say what I want, how I want, when I want. And you're so confident with yourself that you don't care what other people are saying, because he literally laughs back or jokes with them about something about them. And a real man is going to protect you right there. I want you to hear these until these 3 P's: protect, provide, profess. I'm going to say it again. Protect, provide, profess. Protect, provide, profess. You need to know that if your man is not doing 1, 2, or 3 of those 3 things, get him out. He's got to go. There's another one that will. And like, oh my God, I'm so passionate about this. And this, like, seriously, it's like me healing my inner child self, younger self. I'm speaking to someone. Someone will get 29 minutes into this and they'll be deep in listening to like my ADHD brain trying to get to the point. But like, the point is, dating a content creator is not for the weak, because you're posting your life, you're sharing your life, you're most likely sharing parts of the life with the person you're dating. And I'm sorry, it's not always going to be rainbows and butterflies. You're going to have rough moments. And I understand that like there are certain boundaries that can be put up, right? I understand. I've chatted with my boyfriend right now about the boundaries, but I have had to learn that also the hard way, because like a lot of times I will say everything. But at the end of the day, like, you should be able to still talk about what you want to talk about and not have to worry about what someone else is going to think, or how they're going to view you. And if the person you're with is only worried like about what you're saying because they're worried about what others are going to say, I don't know about you, but I really don't want a coward. Nope, no thank you. If I was like, let's put it this way, right? You need someone to stand up for you, right? Maybe you're out one night and some guy grabs your ass and you're with your boyfriend. Do you want the boyfriend that does nothing, or do you want the boyfriend that's like, dude, what the fuck? Why did you touch my girl? And like gets in his face. I'm sorry, I want number two. I want the guy that's gonna get in that man's face and be like, what the fuck? You know? Same way on socials. I don't want the guy that's like okay with watching his friends, family, like all these people like basically stalking me and just like letting it happen. Like, oh, it's nothing. Do you think I was born yesterday? Come on. If they don't follow you, oh, boyfriend's calling.